Rocking Chair Session. With Elisa Di Battista and Maria Teresa Barber.
Hello, everyone.
And welcome to our 9th RCS Rocking Chair Sessions with our special guest, Ernesto Kunde.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming back to the bakehouse.
That's correct. Been a while.
For our little session today. It's already number 9. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can. And I guess just to tell our listeners, we're starting to do this behind the scenes. It's no longer a secret because I'm telling you, where we ask our previous artists that are in sessions to request a future artist. And Ernesto was recommended by somebody who was previously here because they wanted to listen to his story. So
who was it?
It was Jason.
Jason Aponte recommended you.
That's
so
correct.
Definitely.
He's missing me.
So, friends, it happens. So I guess we could jump in. Maria, first question.
First question.
I love the rocking chair.
You do?
I do.
We wanted to know that you were comfortable.
That's fun.
I don't have a first question.
Great, because I do. Okay, so I'm super curious. Your background, well, I love about names and history. Your last name is Kunde, but I did see on your website it mentions that your background, you're from Brazil.
Yes, I'm Brazilian, yeah.
So I'm curious to know the migration and the story of that. Like, do you know anything about the Kunde and where it came from?
Yeah, they came from Lübeck, Germany in 1864.
Wow.
They migrate. I'm already the 4th generation in Brazil.
That is so neat.
And still, I grew up speaking German, actually, until I had a hard time to do Portuguese because it's a small town where I come from. It was a lot of German culture still. It's changing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The next generation, the 5th, is definitely not speaking any German anymore. And I lived in Germany too. I went back and 4th generation.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because I feel like your aesthetic, there's a cleanliness to it, which I do connect more to the European. But the phrase, you told me, Maria, what was the phrase coined on the website? Tropi pop. Tropi pop. Yeah. So I do see like Brazil, I think of a very warm place, very tropical. I think of palm trees, I think of nature, vegetation. And then you do have the Kunde portion, which is like very minimal, clean, kind of like, I feel like sexy even. So that you merge them both together, like your Brazil with your Germany almost in your artwork. Can you talk about that a little? Well,
I never heard that before. That sounds good.
You just did a total bitch of
this whole process, the way where I end up, and it was just trying things out. I think, I don't know, it just happened to end up where I am now, the way I'm painting now. It was, I think, the freedom to be self-taught. I never went to art school. I think it gave me that channel, just trying out different things. And I never thought about the mix of both worlds and painting that way.
Okay.
You just make me think now.
Well, I guess I'm also curious because you did mention this self-teaching. How early did you commence to explore or dabble in art? Was it painting you started off with? Maybe was it sculpture? Like, could you talk a little bit about that?
Painting, because I grew up on a farm. I basically grew up with my grandfather and my grandmother. And my grandfather was very he could do a lot of things. He was very hands-on, handyman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he was doing toys for me. He was doing shoes made from corn, the outside of the corn, and it just
the leaves, or the husk.
Mm-hmm. And I just all this happened in front of me. And then one day, I'm not sure if it was 8 or 10. I started painting. I had a paper and started painting or drawing with leftover coffee. And I started, because the only thing I used to see that time in my life was just cows and corn and tobacco. It's a tobacco farm. And I think the first couple paintings I'd done was the big mountain that is huge in front of my house. And I would paint that over and over and over, and it was like almost like a watercolor, just one color, just deep, a little bit more darker at one point, and just I do remember still have the vision. I don't know where the
paintings
painting end up, but I do remember that's how I started, and just trying,
Did your grandfather encourage you? Did he teach you what he knew, or?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, absolutely. He was definitely there doing things for me. I remember I was doing a lot of things in wood too, because he had a little wood shop. And the neighbor actually also had a wood shop, and he used to, once in a time, he used to go over there and just spend the time, just do my own thing with him. It was kind of, barefoot, running around like a little boy. I had the freedom to go places so different from today. It was pretty good. I don't trade anything for that life.
Do you feel that, sorry Maria, I'm asking all the questions today, that connection to nature basically impacted where you are now, or did you paint other things before you painted nature, or has it always been thematically that?
I feel very connected what I paint now with where I come from, absolutely. If you see a corn, if you Google a corn roots and the mangrove roots, it's the same thing. That's where I come from, especially because after I left the town, I went to Germany, and I came back and I started working in a corn company for 10 years.
In Brazil? In
Brazil, like a Pioneer Seeds, a big company, and it was stressful and all that thing that you don't want to, especially coming from a small town. That was paying me well. I was doing what I actually liked because I see my dad and my mom doing that, and it was too overwhelming in the end because it's too much. People were expecting too much of me, and then after all, I quit.
After 10 years?
After 10 years, I quit. I bought a ticket one way. Told my manager at the time, if I don't like in 6 months, can you still hold my job? I said, absolutely. And I went, and me and my wife at the time, went to Boston delivering pizza and working in a glass shop, and Saturday mornings I used to do like some classes. But during this whole time when I was working in the corn company, I had to have one day or one morning I was painting. I was always.
You kept your practice.
Yeah, it was good for my sanity too. And then and it was always there. And it's a birthday. He likes a soccer play. Let's paint.
You painted like for
as a gift. That was my gift to everybody. It was like a little. Yeah, that was me staying connected with art.
You mentioned coffee.
Can I ask something too?
I'm so excited. Because I'm like, you mentioned coffee. I'm wondering within this 10-year span, have you explored other materials? Go Maria first.
No, I wanted to ask if it was ever in your mind or in your dreams that you actually would study art. Was that ever, did you ever consider that?
I did. And it was after the high school, I told my mom, I would love to do art. And she said, for what? You will waste the money. It's just, first you will make money. Second, this is Brazil. You realize that, she says. And I said, okay. Then I try to do something, agronomy, and I quit. I don't want to do that. Actually, that I really don't want to do.
Was that agriculture or?
Yeah, agriculture. Yeah, it's
or
agronomy.
Is it a mixture between agriculture and economy, or?
No, it's agriculture.
Agriculture, but that's probably in
agronomy. Yeah, it's the
a specific like.
Yeah, the course. Yeah. I said nope.
Okay.
Then I went my way. Went to Germany, studied there. I said, let me explore my. Yeah.
But it was like if it would have been like just up to you, you would probably have wanted to go to art school as well.
Absolutely. Or architect. I like because I'm into angles. I like to put angles. I don't know. I like some of the
geometric forms.
Yeah, that kind of intrigues me, especially with the mangroves being such a beautiful movement and organic with the shape. I don't know. It's a good contrast. So,
The blend. I guess just regressing back to the materials, did you start exploring other materials? Because you mentioned coffee as a type of paint or watercolor you would use during the 10 years you were working basically the fields. Did you use other materials other than coffee?
Not there, but after actually when I had just arrived at the bakehouse. I don't know how long ago was that, like 6 years ago? I don't know.
Probably, right? How long were you at the bakehouse? 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm here like 2.5. So
that makes sense. I was doing found wood with, that time it was totally different work also. It was found wood, more portraits. It was during the recession, the economy sank, and I saw all of the homeless on the street, and it kind of was shocking. The Egypt and Pakistan war or the revolution over there, all that, I guess I had the TV too much on, but affected me. And I was painting a lot of that. Like in my mind, I was painting, I still have some of them, but in forms. They were like round wood pieces that was, each one has this, I don't know, I have to show it as installation basically.
But not 2D, they were definitely like sculptural pieces.
Each of them, but all with charcoal, and white charcoal and black charcoal, and then I used to burn the rest to give an effect. It's kind of different, good. I don't know, I liked it, but I could never sell them. The only person I was interested by was Jorge Perez, but...
Well, that's not a bad person to be interested.
I know, I got lost.
It got lost, it kind of never happened.
Yeah, actually the bakehouse, what's her name? Arliss tried to go back. It was actually when I was showing during Scope, and she actually started to kind of call him if you want to. Yeah.
Do you still have them?
I do have them in some box.
Jorge Perez, if you're still interested in those sculptures Ernesto made a while back, please get in touch with him.
Yeah. I was in all of them were like, one was like about the homeless in Miami, the other one was like the Egypt revolution, the other one was the Pakistan. It was like all like intense, was meaningful. I don't know. It's all dark. There was no color the way I like it now.
So a huge shift, not just in the concept, but also in the medium, in the color,
I had to. I don't know. I was trying to sell it also, and then the mangroves was there. The totally kayaking or paddleboarding, the things I like to do, and I like to be in nature. I like to be in contact with the water, and I just think it's so important to me. Because I have kids, they for the next generation, I know how important the mangroves are for the reproduction for the fishes or for our own
ecosystem. Protecting against hurricanes.
Exactly.
I mean, it's crucial.
And that also spoke, and I don't know, and I actually was selling a lot, and it totally said, "Oh wow, this is totally cool. I like it," and it speaks clearly and directly to me, especially coming from where I come from. Such a hands-on, let's do it. And I tried different techniques. I actually went to the marsh in the middle of the mangroves, grabbed some of the dirt and started painting. Actually, when I was here, it was stinky.
The mud is quite stinky.
Yeah, but okay,
I'm sure your neighbors had a lot of fun with you.
I had to try it. It was not successful. But.
So when did the switch happen that you started to paint the mangroves and you went more into color?
5-6 years ago. 6 years ago, I've been painting basically mangroves since. And I have like commissions or stuff like that come in. But 5 years ago, I had done a couple ones before that. It totally was a accident also. I had my daughter. I still don't know if I was taking, I still don't remember the exact moment about that, but I remember taking a picture of her or a selfie. I don't think that happened that time. Maybe I just switched around the phone. And I saw the picture in the back. I was at some park in North Miami. And she said, wow, look at these roots. They're so beautiful. I took more pictures. And she said, and then start painting. The same picture I overpainted like, I don't know, 6-7 times. And just, wow, that was the beginning of the mangrove thing. And just I switched just different colors, different backgrounds, and it's just going again and again. I don't know, it was fun. It was fun discovering things, like happy accidents. It was 7 years ago, but then 6 I started actually painting them more and more.
And so we have like a theme through all our interviews, and that is always kind of like, how am I financing myself, right? A lot of artists are either teaching artists or have a day job, and then we had last week Augusto, who was actually able to support himself with the artwork that he's making, and you have been doing very well with your especially with your mangrove paintings over the last years.
Yeah. Yes, I've been pretty lucky that I have, people like my work.
Yeah. So how did that happen? How were you able to kind of find the connections to be actually selling enough to support yourself?
I think meeting people. I think in random places. I think putting yourself out there, connecting. Shake some hands. Say what you do. Don't be afraid. And that happened with one of actually a friend of mine in some school that the kids go together. He actually owns a store in the design district, and he sells mainly my stuff, and it's pretty sweet. It's a good cushion to have a person like him to kind of push your work for his customers, and that's great. It's and.
Because you also have a family, right? You have a wife, you have 2 children, so it's like there's a lot of pressure on you also to kind of bring in the money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's wonderful that is possible.
And I like that you've been on both sides of the coin, because you've had to have a job and keep your practice one day of the week when you were working in the fields for 10 years, or when you said you moved to Boston.
I'm not sure you were. Were you working in the fields, really?
I was. Absolutely.
You were working in the fields?
Yeah.
You see? Yeah.
I didn't know that. What were you?
I'm a farmer.
He's a farmer.
So you were really like...
Yeah, until I left. When I left to Germany, I was 21. I was working the farm since.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I could go study instead, but no. I decided to go after and go to Germany and study there, and then come back and actually find a job that went back to the fields anyway for 10 years.
No, but then when you moved to Boston, you still had to work and you were still doing delivery. But you mentioned classes. That's something that piqued my interest. What type of classes did you take when you were in Boston?
It was just a good teacher, and actually I was like a community college that was giving classes, and I was more interested in the practice instead of the rest. I was going for I never liked to study. I never was my thing. My kids will not listen to this, right?
They are listening.
Only you tell them. Only you tell them.
Kids.
But I never was good, or I never had interest. And then I went to this galleries meeting people and just, wow, I like this artist. And then I just went to Rockport in Massachusetts, really beautiful town, very artsy. And I met this really good, I still have his name somewhere, some crazy name, but good artist. And he and his wife were artists and had this beautiful studio. And I went in and she said, can you teach me? Can I come? Can I clean your yard and just do anything? I said, no, I don't do this. I don't know. It's just, I'm too old for that. He was 75. But then I insisted with one of the teachers at the community college. I went, they came with me. Well, this guy really loves your work and he wants it. And she said, okay, in 2 weeks, come back. But,
wow.
And I said, I was so excited now. And I was so excited. It was snowing. And then we ended up going. He never called us to confirm, but we ended up going in and something was strange. And then my teacher came with me the first day just to kind of, let me support this. You're so into him. And his wife actually had broken an arm or something, was some drama going on. I said, please, no. And I never done any class with him, but he's still I'm totally vivid. I still remember so well. I was so excited to almost get the lesson with this guy.
And you never did?
No.
Oh my God.
No, but then I insist, and I went to New York after 4 years working 3-4 jobs in Boston. Then I went to New York. I lived close to Cooper Union. I used to do 3 nights in Cooper Union, like just painting. Really good teacher, but she was more abstract, and we were colliding a little bit. And
so you were doing representative stuff or figurative or whatnot, and she was like, what the hell are you doing?
Nude classes, this and that and everything. I can I just go straight what I want? No, you have to, you have to paint
what I tell you to paint.
Correct. And that don't last long. And then I quit and came down to Miami like 11 years ago, and I'm here since. It's just my home. Away from home, because I've never been in any other place that long. I lived in so many different places, but it's just definitely home. Mm-hmm. And then I think with Miami, art scene boomed. I think I just got a free ride with it, and it just was really nice to be in this time. It was perfect.
It was a perfect timing to come to Miami at that time.
And when I came here, and I had a job, I started working in this, because I don't know anybody in Miami, right? Zero. I started working, I just knocked on 2 or 3 different galleries. All of them don't exist anymore. And then, they don't have a job for me, but they recommend me this art handling I just work for these people, that Chris Ingalls, MBI, and I helped them installing, doing Art Basel and stuff. This was perfect because I started knowing people, names, delivering, collectors and artists, and that was awesome. It's just all randomly I did the right things.
Amazing. What a story. Incredible.
You cannot project this trajectory.
Would you have ever thought as a kid, as an 8-year-old kid, making like coffee stain paintings that you would end up here in Miami?
No, I don't. But I always thought, seeing all the architecture magazines, all this nice abstract, I can do that. Not really, but this is, I don't know. It's a cool dream. And dream actually came true. I always want to be an artist, but there was times I said, no, that will never happen. Now, full-time, 6 years, I believe.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's amazing. How did it happen that you were in New York, you were taking classes at Cooper, it didn't really work out, and how did it happen that you had the idea to move to Miami without knowing anyone?
I come to Miami, or I was planning to go back to Brazil. Oh, okay. Because I was sick of shoveling snow, sick of home, and New York was too big. for some reason, too loud, too everything. It's great to visit for me. I'm like I said, I grew up in a small town. I need a little bit more
nature.
Yeah, just I like to go barefoot in places.
Yeah, and Miami is so incredible. Like how much nature surrounds us here, like the Everglades and I mean Biscayne or like what is it? Yeah, there's like all the national parks around here,
and
right?
Then you go more that way to the Cyprus, and it's just so many.
Valley.
And then the Keys is also a national park, you know, and then the Fairchild Tropical Garden, and it's just like so incredible that I mean the city itself is like built pretty much horribly and thinking environmentally with, you know, all the car traffic, but there's so much nature around it. It's just so beautiful. It's incredible.
Water.
Yeah, water.
It's definitely better
than New York.
Yeah. I don't know. It's closer to Brazil anyway.
Closer, yeah.
Yeah, I feel home.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking with my friend today, I said, "Wow, you guys have everything. There's no way you can miss Brazil and living in Miami."
A friend from Brazil?
Yeah, he lives in California. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking if you were looking for warm weather, I mean, you could have gone either way. You could have gone LA or Miami.
I actually did. I stayed for 25 days in California to try out, but I had to come. I came here before, and mine was set.
Wow.
At least I enjoyed it. 25 days over there.
You tried it. No, I'm gonna come back.
I tried it. Yeah. I had made my mind already.
Mm-hmm. What convinced you?
I don't know. It was clearly what I was looking for. This whole, I don't know. I was missing the tropicals. I like the palm trees. I grew up in the palm trees, and also a jungle. We don't have it here, but it still
Some
feels.
parts.
Yeah, it still feels. Yeah, if you go in the middle of the mangroves, it feels like a jungle. Mm-hmm. And that's me as a kid, kind of being in the trees. It's like you just crawl over and just go to the next. And I remember grabbing a bag of tangerine and eating in the trees. It's I don't know. It's just where I find peace, especially when I paint the mangroves. I actually paint fast, but I don't know. It's just in a zone. It's such that 10 hours there of painting. It's a ride. It's awesome. I like it.
You're almost back in the jungle.
Yeah, I know. It's such a high. I don't know. Yeah. It's a good feeling. It's not. Sometimes things go wrong and I throw things around.
With painting, you throw things around.
It's not the flowers every day, but yeah.
I guess, well, going back to that, it's not flowers every day. I do notice that you have pursued this series of the mangroves in depth, but I do notice how you've made reiterations and it's had like these rebirths in different materials and scales, and as you said, like dimensions and sizes. So my question is, how is it that progression for you has occurred in terms of like, ooh, I want to try this on metal, ooh, I want to try this like laser cut, or I want to try this with these weird, more almost European type shapes. Like, how is it that progression has gone from flat painting to more, testing materials and paints and such?
That's I think the freedom that, I don't know, I always keep bringing back to self-taught. I think that let me explore different ways without thinking about consequences. A lot of the times they go well, like the way you want it, and a lot of the times not, because I'm not skilled enough, because I don't have the preparation or the study for it. It's like the last show I did, I tried paint some material in stainless steel. The stainless steel is already a finished product. I said, no, it has to happen. It was a nightmare. It took a while. I made it happen, but it's not 100%. But I insisted, you have to try it. And I do like the shapes. The shapes actually with the mango, they kind of, like they complement each other. They can go well. And there's no rule anyway, you can, it's art. I like it. You just, you don't need to, you can mix things or colors or shapes or, that's why I like about it. And it's why, going back to your question, I don't know, it was just trying things out. I said, and I have an idea, I take a picture, and then, okay, now it's time to bring this in alive. And then there's sometimes too, like I believe what I'm doing now, I think it will last longer until I try something different. The shapes are coming in, that always will come in, but I feel like there's something about what I'm doing that I think I'm definitely like the next level, or the level where it makes me happy actually.
Are you talking about the big installations at the moment that you're doing, or are you talking more about different materials?
There still is the linen with the black and white.
Yeah.
And like they're just on top of each other. And then I want to actually do the installation. I have in my studio, it's hard to explain.
Okay.
Yeah. Where I know what I'm going to do. It's like a picture, to show idea for a gallerist. This is what I want. Big scale. Yeah, I like big. And that was actually the reason I left the bakehouse, because I couldn't do bigger or big.
You were limited very much with the studio space that you had, right?
Yeah, and then I went to a warehouse.
That's where you are now?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's located where?
7111 North Miami Avenue.
Okay, so if you want to visit or stalk Ernesto, that's where you shall be.
Is that still Little Haiti, or is it Alapata?
Little River, I don't know.
Somewhere up there, okay.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it's just there you can explore more bigger paintings, 12 feet sizes, not just 7 or 6.
Yeah,
it's just and that's one way to also separate yourself from other artists, and then people like collectors or designers or it's just people come to you. Okay, Ernesto has the big paintings that I want for the big wall. And I had people coming to me that way. I said, oh, wow, there's a business for this. And that's why also trying things out, it's just one thing leads to the next one. It's just, it's been blessed, I guess.
What I wanted to ask also, since we are at the bakehouse here doing the interviews, how did that transition go for you, like out of the bakehouse? Like, how did you find a place where you could move to afterwards? Were you together with a couple of people from the bakehouse, or how did that happen?
No.
Was it just you on your own?
Me on my own. I text a friend of mine, and text right away back because he don't had any place to recommend it to me. And then one day he said, Bhakti, oh, well, call Alex. Alex has this place. And then the next thing I know, this was a super cool community where Michael Vasquez is there. And at the time, Timothy Bualda, Robles, Sarah Moody, all John Davis, all these people were there. It was super cool to be in this, some people that are actually really top-notch artists in Miami. Just the next thing I'm here with them, and it's changing. It's
like
sad.
everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's sad. A lot of the people moved because
it's getting expensive there too.
Yeah, increasing the rent, but it was fun. It's still fun, because I still have the place.
But so you were able to find a new art community.
Yeah,
like a smaller,
for me,
much smaller, but
it's smaller, and I actually like it smaller. It was important for me to have this. Sometimes you just don't want to paint. Sometimes you just want to talk or just have the feedback from this other.
Studio visits, critical.
This guy come over and just, hey, what about if you try this? What about if you it's always good. I'm open, always open. I just, I do talk to Lars. Lars is one guy that I love to talk about it. It's another guy that I really love to talk, and it's a friend of mine too. The guy that used to actually be in this studio, Michael Gelacli.
We're interviewing him.
Yeah, we have him set for like one of the next sessions.
Cool dog. He's amazing, great artist, good friend. Some people you connected right away, and it just has this thing that you listen, and I don't know, it's like reading a book or learning something new just in a talk, like we're doing here.
Yeah. I feel like that is so important about our community as a whole, like the Miami art community, and then also those smaller communities like the Bakehouse community, like the Laundromat community, the Fountainhead Studios. You have your the Little River, like our community there, and it's really like it's so important that exchange is happening, right, amongst artists. Like for me, it's also like being able to go to shows and go see what people are doing. I'll get inspired by the museum, or by it's so important as an artist to have that as well, right? To have that input also.
It's like during Art Basel, I always make sure I go in certain fairs because they speak to me directly, and I can. The last couple of years, not so much, but there are some fairs that actually this is pretty unique and this is pretty cool. This is what I'm like. It's why you go to New York and chill at this Soho, right? The meat packet, whatever they call
the Whitney,
the area there.
The meat packing is by the Whitneys and Chelsea.
It's why you go there because there are some galleries you go specifically. This is what I like. This is what you want to absorb. You want to this. Maybe I can put this together. Something similar. Something you just build up. That's how my head little works. It's just combine works and try it out and see if you like it. I don't know. It's just it's like the fairs for me. One that I always like to go is Pulse. There's something about it. I don't know. I like contemporary. I like that speaks clearly for me.
And you have also exhibited at the fairs, and I saw you exhibited at Spectrum and Art Miami. That was with the Bakehouse back then. Do you remember that?
I did Spectrum, and Scope.
Scope. You did Scope as well.
With here, and now in the last 3 years I've been showing with Argentinian gallery. In Context.
In Context, How did you end up with an Argentinian gallery?
Good question. A friend of mine, artist from New York, really good friend of mine, Armando Marino. He introduced me to this gallery. He said, "Well, they are looking for artists, and please come meet me here." And I said, "Cool, let's go see it." And since then, we've been working together.
Incredible.
And it's great. Yeah, she's a good gallery.
Do you feel you've had the same experience? Because you mentioned you were here at the Bakehouse for about 5 years. We obviously did some research on you, and we noticed you had a lot of exhibitions here at the Love Gallery while you were here at the Bakehouse. Do you feel that any of those experiences exhibiting here gave fruition to any connections or any learning experiences?
That time, yes, absolutely. I think the Bakehouse helped me very much in my career because where I was, it took me to the next level. It's just like steps. I always will find the next rock to jump and doing the show here, you make portfolio too. You build a portfolio. It's a solo there, and people come by. A lot of people come by, and I remember the time. Art Miami used to do the after party here. There's a lot of collectors, and one gallery from California used to have my stuff in California, and it just was the time was a lot of things were happening here. I don't know, I don't know what's going on now, but
it's definitely very different in the way that the galleries were curated. At the moment, it was way more with artists from outside the Bakehouse than with the Bakehouse artists, because I think I was counting the shows that you had in the Audrey Love Gallery, and there were like 5 shows in like 2 years, and we were like, oh wow, you got a lot of a lot of like exposure in a way. You were able to show the work. I think that one was the recently acquired, but then there were also like a lot of other shows where you had a solo show in the Svensson Gallery.
That was one of my favorite shows actually.
Oh really? In the Svensson or in the big? In the
small one.
In the Svensson Gallery.
Svensson. It was a really cool show.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You curated it yourself or did you?
No, the curator at the time.
Ananda? Or was it Ananda?
Yeah, she helped me a lot.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah, she definitely did a good job curating, and it was a great show. It was like, I think, 30-something pieces. I was just stuck with paintings, like big.
The mangroves paintings?
Hanging. And then the big wall in the back, I did a big mural, half finished, and the rest was projected. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
A lot.
It was multimedia.
Yeah.
So now that I'm curious, because you mentioned projection, I haven't seen any projection pieces. What do you feel in terms of material? Where do you want to explore next? Because you said projection, mangroves, like what other stuff do you foresee in the future for you?
Projects.
Yeah, future projects.
I would love to do mangroves themselves, standing mangroves, like coming out from the painting. Sculptural, yeah. Mm-hmm. That I'm trying to figure out the last year, so I'm still.
I have faith.
It will happen. And then actually the first thing I was trying to like just do a couple of them and just have a little painting in the top of them. Just have like they would be almost a easel for the
painting, but it's like shaped as a mangrove.
Yeah,
That's quite neat.
Yeah, that's
like porcelain or something. Yeah,
anything. But I painted looking old. I don't know. That's in the making. Like I said, it's one of mine.
It's in the back of your head.
Yeah.
That really hurts, by the way. We just talked. Ernesto came here to this interview today with like an injury, a pretty bad injury, and we're very happy that he made that happen.
Thank you for making
Thanks so much to come here with. So it's somewhere in the back, so he needs to come on.
Yeah, I have to figure out how we'll do that. I want to do it nicely. Yeah, they will be like standing. I would love to have like 6 of them and then have some small painting on top of like, I don't know, a cool look, nice installation.
In terms, you have a question?
No, I just was really fascinated with the installation that you did also in the school. You know how much, for me, your paintings change a lot when you put them together in an installation like that.
Yeah.
What was the school again that you showed it?
The Miami Country Day.
The Miami Country Day School.
Miami Country Day, yeah.
And you did like all those different shapes also of the canvases, and you put it all together. And when you were talking about your childhood and growing up like in the jungle, it was kind of like, for me, it was really, I grew up in the forest. Like I grew up in Austria, in Tyrol, in the mountains. So I never experienced the jungle, but I experienced what it means to be in the woods, you know, and be kind of like feel very
immersed,
calm, and like in a way it's you're very safe, or you're. Some people don't feel like that, but as someone who grew up there, it feels like it's a very special place. It's like for meditation, or it brings you to an inner calm that you can't really experience anywhere else.
It's great walking through.
It makes you want to kick off your shoes, seriously.
Yeah.
I grew up like that in my backyard. Just take off your shoes and walk amongst the grass.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I grew up like putting on my skis in front of the house and then just going over, on the street you could ski over, and then you go skiing all the time. It's like, that was like, but there's something about your installations that bring back that feeling to me also, where it's different than when it's just one painting. I feel like that there's definitely something in your installations and also that these like large scale paintings that immerse you into like a forest or like a jungle, or like where it's a lot about you're changing like the experience or the feeling.
Yeah, it's funny.
of the viewer.
Now you're just saying that my favorite part going back with my kids to Brazil is like 2 or 3 years ago, we were hearing all these monkeys making this noise and my kids, what is this noise? I said, well, that's the monkeys. They're known in half hour the rain will come. And they were just getting ready and they rolled up, and yeah, half hour later it was raining. So I do remember growing up that way. And that for me, like talking with the forest, I was just yeah.
You knew the rules
You
of
were the
forest.
jungle kid. You knew the ways of the jungle.
Yeah. But when you grow up also in the mountains, you have to know about the weather. You have to know when there is a thunderstorm coming or something.
The way the clouds look like, you already know.
Yeah.
So I say it smells like rain. Oh, it's going to rain. And you're like, what are my kids? Can't you smell it? And they're like, no, you're crazy. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about upcoming projects also. What do you have coming up in the next?
I'm actually pretty free lately. I like to be, and that makes me explore what I'm doing now more without pressure.
Yeah.
I do have not much going on a lot until December. That's our Basel basically. But it's just I like this time. I like this time off.
It's exploratory.
It's time to try different things. Time to still explore the new and I need new shapes. I need new material. But yeah, for now I'm happy to be exploring. Yeah, I just had the show is coming down this week. That was under pressure. I was not happy to work under pressure so much, and now I'm happy to go back and do the little commissions here and there and just go on. It's summertime. Things slow down.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have a slow summer in Miami.
In October things go crazy again.
What are you going to be in a fair this Basel as well?
I'm hoping to be again, in Context.
In Context again, okay. For our listeners, if you want to check out his work, go see him at the Context Fair.
And I'm kind of curious because you mentioned your grandfather for you was kind of like this almost like mentor who showed you how to use tools, and he was very artistic, and then he could create things. You, now that you're a father, do you do that for your kids? Do you do art with them, or do you just limit it to?
Absolutely, and they love to go inside in the studio. They love to come. They enjoy to be there. It's fun. And they like to paint. Both of them. They're proud of me. They like to tell my dad's an artist, and I don't know. It's just, and Evelyn draws really well. Ryan is pretty good in his drawing too, and Ryan likes more to spray. Evelyn.
So he's more like a street artist.
Yeah, I guess so.
A muralist.
Yeah, but I don't know. They're definitely they go in some shows, galleries, and they're pretty much involved. They read the magazines that I bring them home, and it's
you're involving them.
Yeah, absolutely. Way more than I had growing up, because I had a different way. They like it. They like it a lot.
Do they speak German too?
No.
No.
Barely Portuguese.
Barely Portuguese, really?
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Yeah, because they were born here, right? They were born here.
We have a large Portuguese community here. Do you feel, I guess, we have 2 minutes? Okay, good. Last question. Now, knowing everything that you have learned through your life experiences, I mean, I guess it's kind of corny, but I mean, do you feel that you would support your kids in whatever career they pursue? I mean, I feel that as an artist,
absolutely.
Would you tell them, no, don't be an artist? Or do you think you'd be like, yeah, why not?
Would you let them go to art school?
I do. I definitely. At first, because it's in the US. Artists, US is a little easier to be an artist at small town back in Brazil. Let's put it that way. Yeah, things are more. I think that's one of the reasons I came here anyway. It's just at least if you work hard, you get it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just everything is in the reach. It all depends of you.
Do you want to ask the last question, Maria?
Yeah, so our very last question is like a question we always ask. You have been sitting on a magical rocking chair.
I love it.
For 50
it's
minutes.
like my grandmother's one.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it reminds me of my grandmother too when I sit on it. But it's magical, and since it's magical, it grants you 3 wishes. So what would it be? But if you could have anything, what would the 3 most important wishes be for you?
Peace
Nice.
to the world.
We can definitely use that at the moment.
And a little bit more environmental help, especially because I paint what I paint, and we need some help.
Awareness and respect, yeah.
A lot of
To protect the nature.
Yeah, I'm a little scared. I don't like what's going on. I don't like the direction what's it taking. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about.
No, but I think that's why it's important that you do the work that you're doing.
I don't like politics, but in this case, it's almost time to people step up.
Yeah.
I know neighborhoods are changing. I know this and that is changing, but we are talking something serious. There is no life on Mars. There's no water. There's just no. That doesn't work like that. This is serious stuff.
Yeah, that's your second wish, which I think is great because I feel like your work now is then shifting from environmental, quote unquote, which they might label you, to quote unquote environmental political.
Also activist, in a way, you're also with your work, you're raising like an awareness, about this problem. Also with the sea level rise. I mean, where are the mangroves going to be if the sea level rises more and more, So.
And your third wish.
A new president, now.
A new president.
Oh, I wanted to say that.
Your words in God's ears. Let's pray for that.
That'd be great, right?
That would be so awesome. We would really like that.
I will probably ask you my next question post-interview since we have run out of time.
No, go on. It's fun.
I guess I was curious because you finished with the Bakehouse art route. I'm totally breaking regulation here. I'm sorry to our listeners. I feel like your work. Have you done the ARI residency yet?
I thought the exact same thing.
No.
Oh, I feel like you should apply. I definitely do.
Yeah, it's not the first person that told me to do that.
I feel like
I did different residence.
You did a lot of residencies
in nature.
Yeah.
But I know the nature, but I want something different from what I am already.
Oh, you want to explore something different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I will never say no.
No, never say never. Never say never. Okay, well that was it for me.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much, Ernesto Kunde, for coming out
so much
to
for
RCS.
coming. And I hope we both hope that you feel better really soon.
Yeah, we're sorry about the neck. Thank you for coming out.
That you get some help taking your show down.
Interview number 8. Anybody wants to offer for your help, please email Ernesto.
Get in touch with Ernesto.
Check him out on his website, send him a message, assist. Yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for listening again to our little podcast. Thank you so much, Elisa, for being
Maria.
You're awesome.
For my patience.
We are going to be back next week with another interview. Surprise. Alrighty. Bye.